everybody, welcome to PBM's Video Entertainment, and welcome back to another episode of PBM's Home Media Reviews, a series to review and talk about movies. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of DreamWorks' best films from the early years of DreamWorks Animation, and I'm of course talking about The Prince of Egypt. So, without further ado, let's jump into the history of The Prince of Egypt. So, The Prince of Egypt was originally released in theaters back in December 18th of 1998 by DreamWorks, and this movie received really great reviews by both critics and audience, and it became a huge success for both kids and adults. Then, on September 14th of 1999, it was finally released onto home media, and you can get 4 different versions of the film. There is the VHS copy, the Laserdisc copy, the DVD copy, and then you have the DTS Digital Surround DVD copy. Then on June 5th of 2018, it was re-released onto DVD by Universal Studios. Then on October 16th of 2018, it was finally released onto Blu-ray, and it comes with a digital HD movie code as well. There is no DVD whatsoever. And the 4K copy was finally released on March 14th of 2023, distributed by Studio Distributing Services, the company that now distributes home media products for both Universal Studios and Warner Brothers. And The Prince of Egypt could also be found in this DreamWorks DVD double pack with Joseph, King of Dreams. And now we got the history part out of the way, let's jump into my copy of The Prince of Egypt. Alright, we will now jump into my copy of The Prince of Egypt. And so far I just have the Australian copy inside this DreamWorks 4-movie collection, import from Australia. So I got this, I want to say, a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. I got this one. Yeah. Want to get this one because, well, the reason why I wanted to get this one because, one, I do love collecting imports, and second, thought I might as well have these other movies in my collection besides The Prince of Egypt. Anyways, so yeah. Here we have, of course, The Prince of Egypt. Here we have Moses and Zipporah. And of course, here we have, of course, other films that are in this collection. But we're talking about The Prince of Egypt. We're not talking about any other movies in this episode. Anyways, so it's rated PG, but the reason why it's because, well, in Australia, Sinbad is PG in Australia, but for Prince of Egypt, Joseph, and El Dorado, those are actually rated G in Australia. So yeah, the reason why it's PG is because, of course, Sinbad is in this collection. That's okay. Anyways, Blu-ray disc logo and DreamWorks 4-movie collection. Here we have the 4 films. Here we have the Australian rating once again. DreamWorks logo. And then the back. Blurb if you want to pause and read that. And here you have your special features. And it is region free. I'm actually glad it shows what region it is because, well, with, for something like the DreamWorks films, like, they don't show what region it is. Like, I was like, what the heck, dude? But for the DreamWorks Blu-rays that are distributed by 20th Century Fox, they actually show the region. Like, the ones in the United States, they're all region A and stuff like that. But now Universal owns DreamWorks, so I wonder if for, like, the newer DreamWorks films are region free, or are they all just going to be, like, region A? I'm not entirely sure. Like, I wish for all the Blu-rays to show what region it is, you know, so that way everybody knows, so that way basically, you know, like, if someone from the United States wanted to get, like, an Australian Blu-ray or a UK Blu-ray, like, they gotta check and make sure if it's region free, A, B, C. But if it shows, like, region B locked, it can't work on region A Blu-ray players, for example. Yeah. But of course, I have a region free disc player, so it wouldn't matter. Anyways, and here we have the video, audio, and subtitles for The Prince of Egypt, and the running time is 1 hour and 39 minutes. And here's disc. It's just plain blue and really, really boring artwork. Yeah. And behind this, it just shows like all that, basically like on who worked on what movie and blah blah blah, you know. And now we will now jump into the menu tour for The Prince of Egypt. Alright, we have now jumped into the Blu-ray menu tour for The Prince of Egypt. And one thing I forgot to mention, in the United States, it's rated PG, just to let you know. Forgot to tell you all. That's whenever I showed y'all my copy of The Prince of Egypt. Anyways, here we have Play Movie, and this one is Scene Selection. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 scenes to choose from. This one is the special features. Here we have the making of the Prince of Egypt, When You Believe, multi-language presentation, the basics of animation, the chariot race, and here we have focus on technical effects. Then the commentary, you could switch it on or off. And then here we have language audio. Here we have English, and I think that's supposed to be Dutch. I know that one's supposed to be Italian, I think. I'm not sure, but here we have different languages, and yeah, so you can watch the movie in whatever language you choose. And here we have subtitles. Basically same option, just like with language audio. You could do yes or no to subtitles. And that's it for the menu tour for The Prince of Egypt. We're over here at this last part to talk about my review and thoughts on today's movie. So, let's talk about the story plot first. So what is it basically about? So, Prince of Egypt, it's actually based on the story of Moses in the Bible, in the book of Exodus and all that. So basically, that's what it's all about. But let me actually tell you the story plot. So of course in the beginning we see like the slaves, of course, building like pyramids and all that. Like if you read the story of Moses, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you've seen the film, you'll know what I mean. Anyways, so later on, like the Pharaoh's soldiers were trying to take away, or of course they're taking away all the baby boys and of course send them down like the river, feed them to like the crocodiles or alligators, you know. Then of course one woman managed to save the baby's life, but of course she has to like give up his baby boy, and so he puts him in of course in a little basket and has him float through the river, and then Moses ends up in over at the palace and everything. And so the queen found him and raised him, and then Moses, yeah, he thought he was of course the Prince of Egypt, but then later on whenever he meets up with his actual brother and sister, yeah, he realized that of course he was actually a Hebrew and everything, and he figured out like of course like his actual mother had to save his life and everything. And so Moses, he was going through a lot and everything. And then one day of course Moses saw a soldier like whipping of course a slave, an old man. And so Moses, he stops the soldier, but he ends up killing him by accident, and so he runs away in fear. And so he ends up like over at the deserts, where he meets a lady named Zipporah, and he meets her father Jethro, and yeah, and so Moses married Zipporah, and then one day as Moses grew older, he meets like a burning bush, and it's actually God himself. And so he tells Moses to go to the king of Egypt to see Pharaoh and to let his people go. And so Moses and Zipporah went to Egypt, and then comes to find out that that the king of Egypt is now Ramesses, Moses' stepbrother that he grew up with and everything. They were like best friends and everything. But then, of course, when Moses tells Ramesses to like let Moses' people go and everything, Ramesses, of course, he wants to, of course, like carry on the ancient traditions. Like he was trying to be more like his father and everything. But Moses, of course, whenever he says, "Let my people go," the Pharaoh kept saying no and everything, and so the plagues were like coming. Like you got like the bloody river or whatever, and then you have like the frogs and like the meteor showers and all that stuff. And then when the final plague hit, like when they took like all of the like the older, the firstborn children, I think, like they took their souls or whatever and basically killed them, I think. Yeah, if I recall correctly, yeah. And so ever since that, Ramesses lost his son, and so he gives Moses permission to leave Egypt along with his people and everything. And so as they were all leaving Egypt and stuff like that, Ramesses, of course, tracks down Moses and his people. And so the only way to like escape the Pharaoh, Moses and his people actually went through the Red Sea, and Moses, of course, like departed the Red Sea, and so they managed to escape Pharaoh. They managed to escape Ramesses and his soldiers and everything, and so Moses and his people are now all free. Yeah. So, what do I think about the story? I thought how they because like I said, it's based on the story of Moses in the Bible and everything. And I gotta say, they did really good with the story plot in this film. I really enjoyed it. And now let's talk about the characters. Like pretty great characters. Like you got Moses, you got Ramesses, and I gotta say, I loved with the relationship how Moses and Ramesses like they of course they were best friends like growing up and everything, but then of course then as Moses of course figured out he was a Hebrew and he's trying to follow like God's directions to like let his people go and everything, but Ramesses, of course, he doesn't want that to happen, and so they went from friends to basically rivals or enemies. Anyways, yeah, and so Zipporah, pretty great character as well, and of course I love Jethro, which is Zipporah's father. He was good. He only got like one scene, and then that was it basically, for like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. Like, of course, he has his song "Through Heaven's Eyes," which that's a good one. I'll talk about more on the soundtrack later. And yeah, so I thought the characters were pretty good as well. Anyways, let's talk about the animation. The animation is just amazing. Even though this is DreamWorks' second animated film, the first one they did was Ants, which is 3D animation. The Prince of Egypt is like 2D animation, stuff like that. And I gotta say, like the animation is just really incredible. Like the background, the scenery, and of course the character designs were pretty spectacular, I gotta say. so it's pretty cool how DreamWorks like back then, like in DreamWorks early years, they've done like 2D animation for some films, like these, for example, and of course Spirit as well. Anyways, so yeah, overall, really great animation. Now let's talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack is beautiful. Like the opening song "Deliver Us" is pretty good. I'm gonna say what my top 3 favorite songs are. I love the Plague song, "Through Heaven's Eyes," and I love "All I Ever Wanted." Those are like my top 3 favorites songs in this film. And of course the other songs like "Deliver Us," "Playing with the Big Boys Now," and "When You Believe," those songs are pretty good as well. But yeah. And of course, like the music score is just really, really fantastic. Like it is beautiful. It made me cry, it made me happy. It's just so beautiful. Well, the song "Deliver Us," of course, made me made me cry. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is, of course, a little heart-wrenching, like with, of course, with baby Moses, like at the in a river and everything, like in a basket, of course, if you take my meaning. Anyways, but yeah, so overall, really great soundtrack. Now on to my final thoughts. So overall, do I recommend The Prince of Egypt? Well, I gotta say, even though technically I'm not a Christian and I'm not religious whatsoever, but I thought this is definitely one of the best DreamWorks films ever made, to be honest. Like, you have really great animation, a gorgeous soundtrack, and I love how, of course, like they, like with biblical movies like these, like I love how they turn them into like movies and stuff like that. Like it's just incredible. Like feels like everybody that like if you're a huge movie fan like me, you definitely have to watch The Prince of Egypt. Like it is spectacular. Like regardless if you're a Christian or not, like I'd say this is still one of DreamWorks' best films. Like this is definitely somewhere in my top 3 of my all-time favorite DreamWorks films of all time. So overall, I recommend you pick up The Prince of Egypt. Anyways, that's going to do it for me, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!